94.3 The Dude is very grateful to our men and women in uniform. We're proud to recognize local members of our military by turning the spotlight on them right now in our Soldier Salute.
Today in the Soldier Salute, we're speaking with Master Sergeant Kenneth Monroe from the South Carolina Air National Guard. Master Sergeant, tell us about you.
Well, I've been in the Guard for almost 15 years now, 18 years total military service. Joined the South Carolina Air National Guard in 2002, and I also was a weapons munitions loader when I came in. I have a beautiful wife, been married for 9 years. Out of that, we have 5 kids total. I have 2 wonderful grandbabies, both living in Texas. So I try to get out there as much as I can. I have 2 of my kids that live in Texas, and it's one of my favorite states to go to.
Where are you originally from?
Originally from South Carolina.
And what do you do now in the Air National Guard?
I work with the recruiting and retention office, try to recruit new folks into the Guard, and try to retain the good folks that are there because we don't want to see them leave. It takes a lot of money to train somebody. We want to keep them around.
So, Master Sergeant, what got you fired up to say, hey, you know what? This is what I want to do. I want to serve my country. I want to wear this pretty green. I want to see the world.
I've always enjoyed aviation and being around airplanes, and knowing that the Air Force would give me that opportunity, I sought out to join the Air Force in 1987. And I was able to do one of my dream jobs was be around the F-16 aircraft. And so working on the munition system was a way for me to get satisfaction out of what I was looking for.
Did you have family members before you that had served? Was there, some sort of motivation, a draw?
I had 2 uncles that served in World War II, and listening to their stories and knowing the history there was awesome. And then my dad was in the National Guard in the 1940s and 50s. And so it's kind of a heritage thing. Just went with my family. And so for me to join the military is just kind of one of those things that's in your blood. And for me to join was just following in my family footsteps.
So, Master Sergeant, although basic training in Lackland, Texas may have been a minute ago or two, as the kids say, do you remember that first few moments you came to the service because your family was in? But was there ever a moment you went, oh, this is not the right thing for me?
When I got on an airplane headed to Texas, I was scratching my head and wondering, what have you done? But it was too late. You couldn't jump out. Then you hear the taps coming down the hallway, and you're thinking, oh, shoot, I have really screwed up. But looking back on it, it was the most awesome experience that I think I've ever had in my life. It taught me a lot of discipline. It taught me respect for others, taught me teamwork, and it really helped me mature into an adult and transition from a teenager into an adult.
Are there some things that, looking back nearly 2 decades, this came from my time in Lackland?
My wife says I'm OCD because I like for things to be neat and in order. That came from basic training because before I got to basic training, I was not that way. And now I have to have everything kind of perfect. It's helped me get to the point I am and progress in my career and have a plan. Because before I went into the military, I didn't know what plan was. And so to me, that's my takeaway from that. Is just structure and knowing how to plan life.
How do you balance your service to the country? I mean, you're always up for deployment, and sometimes you got to go, and I know you have. How do you balance that, with being a dad and a husband and a granddad?
It's a tough balance. My family understands my commitment to the military. They understand everything that it entails. And I missed my son's graduation. I missed anniversaries. But my family's been there to support me because they know the importance and they know what this means to me. It's a fine line. You gotta know when to separate everything. And I try to devote time to my family and take a disconnect from my job in the military and leave it at the office and spend time with my family and take that time away with vacations to be able to enjoy life and enjoy your family.
Hey, Master Sergeant, you came to the military honestly. You've had a lot of family members, including your dad, who served. So what was his response when you said, hey, Dad, I'm going to go ahead and put on the green?
I remember he was very proud. He went with me when I come down to Fort Jackson to go through the MEPS, which is the military entrance processing. And he was there with me for that. And then he was there when I actually swore into the Guard, or swore into the Air Force. And so it was a proud moment for me. It was a proud moment for him. And it's good. You
remember what he said to you just after graduation, the first thing he said when you finally were able to talk to Dad?
I don't remember his exact words, but, just knowing how my dad was, I'm pretty sure it would have been, son, I'm proud of you and what you've done. He passed away in 92, so I can't really remember, but he was proud. I know that.
Master Sergeant, you're a recruiter, of course, for the Air National Guard here in South Carolina. Tell me about what does that entail? What do you do?
We go out and we do high school visits. and college and career fairs and try to seek qualified individuals that are interested in joining the Air Guard to better themselves, not only through education, but also through learning a technical skill that is going to help them in the civilian world.
Tell me about your average day.
Average day for me, I go into the office, clean out the emails, and start going through those folders that I'm currently working with applicants and trying to move them to the next level to get them into MEPS for their testing or their physical. We try to look at everything and get to know the person, not just to try to put a number in the door.
And so you're really building that relationship, and I suspect probably not just with the candidate, but with the family, right?
I love meeting with parents because a lot of parents, they really don't understand what we do. And a lot of times those high school kids will go home and say, I haven't joined the military. The parent really doesn't grasp it. So I always encourage the parents to come to those sessions to where we sit down and we talk, because I want them on board as well. The beauty of the Air National Guard is a family. And even though it's the individual joining, in essence, it's the whole family joining, because it affects the whole family in some way. And we want that family to be confident and want them to know that what their son or their daughter is getting into is a positive thing.
Master Sergeant, you've been in 18 or so years. Is there anything that you would say to someone who's maybe on the fence about joining, whether it's the Guard or any branch of the military, that maybe you would have liked to have gone back in time 18 years to the much younger Master Sergeant Monroe and said, hey, Bo, here's something you want to consider?
Education is huge, and I wish I had made the step. I waited a year after high school, and I wish I had made the step right after high school and been able to go through, have just a more successful career.
Is there any kind of reality check you might suggest to someone before they actually sign to say, this is actually what you're getting into, before they get there and go, what now?
Recruiting kind of has that stigma out there. We lie to anybody to get them in the door. I haven't changed my recruiting style since I started 6 years ago. You present the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's great benefits, but there's also some things that you've got to sacrifice and some commitments that you have to make. And unless you're ready to make the commitment and ready to make the sacrifice, the military may not be for you. But I also encourage those applicants to explore every branch of service. Go search the web, go to YouTube and look at videos of the different branches. Make sure this is the right fit for you before you sign that dotted line. Because once you sign the paperwork, you're committed. You're committed for 6 years. And we want to make sure that commitment is exactly what you think it is.
Thanks for joining us in our Soldier Salute.